Senior National Security Fellow, Heritage Foundation. Good morning, or rather good afternoon, Robert. So as the two countries exchange blows, can we talk about their capabilities in this conflict? What are some of Iran's most effective warfare tools that you see?
Well, to be honest with you, Iran has already expended most of their most effective munitions in the form of their ballistic missiles. They still have some, but it appears that those numbers are going down pretty dramatically. And what's happening is they're firing those missiles, which are being intercepted by Israel's missile interceptors, and the Israeli Air Force, primarily F-35s and F-16s, are hunting and destroying those ballistic missile launchers.
And what about Iran's missile capabilities? Where do things stand as of right now?
They're being degraded. Iran is getting less and less cruise missiles and ballistic missiles off the ground. Their drones, they still have a number of drones, but Israel has proven to be very effective at eliminating those. So Iran still poses a threat, but the longer this conflict goes on, the less of a threat Iran will become.
So are you saying that Iran does not have the capability to sustain a prolonged conflict?
They don't. They don't. They're on the losing side of this, and time is not on their side. The longer this conflict goes on, the more opportunities Israel is going to have to roll back Iranian capabilities, particularly their long-range fire, such as their cruise missiles and ballistic missiles.
Do you see Iran possibly utilizing proxy forces like Hezbollah or Houthis, for example, in the region?
I don't. Hezbollah has already said they're going to sit this conflict out. Israel, by and large, has rolled back Hezbollah capabilities. They're in tatters right now. Houthis still have some capability, but they don't have enough long-range strike to be able to hold Israel at risk. I mean, what Israel has done over the last 18 months has rolled back Iran's terror proxy network and are now taking the fight home to Tehran.
Okay, Israeli attacks on Iran, how resilient have Iran been against protecting itself from those attacks?
Not terribly. I mean, when you look at the targets that Israel has identified, whether those are the nuclear facilities, command and control facilities, general staff, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps headquarters, they have been systematically rolling back and servicing those targets and being quite effective at that. Essentially, every target Israel has set out to destroy, they have succeeded.
Does Israel's alleged nuclear capability factor into the conflict in any way?
Well, I mean, there's never been any proof that Israel is, in fact, nuclear power, but I don't really think it plays into the equation. What you're seeing right now is Israel launching conventional capabilities, and I think that's where the conflict is going to remain.
And how has Israel adapted to counter Iran's tactics? How is it doing defending itself against Iran?
It's doing spectacularly well through this combination of missile defenses as well as this offensive strike. I mean, some of the strikes included drones and missiles that were launched from inside Iran itself, from long-time cells, and even containers that were holding inside of it UAVs, drones, and cruise missiles that Israel launched from inside of Iran itself. Israel has been incredibly imaginative and effective during this conflict.
Okay, let's talk about the U.S. Aspect as well. As you see it, are you leaning towards the direction that the U.S. will get involved or that it won't get involved?
Well, that's, of course, up to President Trump, and no one can make that decision but him. But at this point, I think it is a very real possibility that President Trump may order some American heavy bombers, such as the B-52 or the B-2, to carry out precision strikes on key Iranian targets. And those would almost likely be the Iranian nuclear-related facilities, such as those at Fordo, using Earth-penetrating gravity bombs. So if President Trump made that call, that's likely the course of action he would pursue.
Okay, can you elaborate a bit more on that? What kind of tactics would the U.S. use?
Well, what you'd probably see are, again, high-altitude bombers dropping precision-guided, large-capacity gravity bombs on key targets. And these are bombs that are designed to penetrate the Earth dozens of meters underground and then explode with incredible force. They're essentially what we're talking about are the largest non-nuclear munition on the planet. And these are the types of weapons that only really the United States has. And so if you saw an attack come, you'd probably be seeing strikes coming from bombers operating anywhere from 20,000 to 30,000 feet above ground.
I mean, do you see any risks of the U.S. getting involved here? What are some of the potential downsides?
I'll be honest with you, I don't see a lot of risks. As I mentioned earlier, the Iranian proxies have already been dismantled by Israel. Russia has said explicitly they're not going to enter the conflict. Iran is becoming weaker and weaker by the day. There's not a tremendous amount of downside for the United States should this conflict erupt.
Okay, now I understand that you've used the term nuclear umbrella when it comes to the U.S. Can you talk to us about that and how it relates to this conflict?
I really don't think it plays that much into this particular conflict. The United States has the nuclear umbrella extended over its key allies in Europe, particularly those in NATO, as well as Japan, South Korea, and Australia. This is not really an instance where that particular capability would come into play.
Okay, but why is extended deterrence, as you've talked about, a stabilizing force?
Well, what I would say is that the American nuclear umbrella has been a stabilizing force in the sense that countries that are underneath the American nuclear umbrella do not feel compelled to pursue their own nuclear weapons. And that has kept the number of states that have nuclear weapons to under 10 for the better part of half a century now. And so the American nuclear umbrella has been an incredible force, not only for nonproliferation, but for global stability and helping to tamper down conflicts that may erupt across the world.
Okay, just one last question on the conflict between Israel and Iran. As you see it, what are some of the possible outcomes that this could ultimately end?
Well, I think what you're going to see is almost certainly the Iranian nuclear program be rolled back, if not dismantled totally, set back years. And I think there's no way that that outcome doesn't come back. The larger question is, how many targets is Israel going to target that's going to erode Iranian regime control? And then it'll be up to the people of Iran. Are they going to change their own regime and throw off the autocracy that the mullahs have had over the people of Iran since 1979?
Okay, Robert, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Coming up.